Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, August 17th, 2023, about 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a reverse aging health call tomorrow night around 9 p.m. Eastern involving the current, I'll just put availability of some things, amongst other information. In the knowing, when you can tell. Some people say gut reaction, or I just have a feeling. You ever done that where you say I have this feeling, it doesn't go away, and something's not right, or you can't really put your finger on it, but you know. You just have this knowing. And when you say that to people, you go, oh, well, how do you know? You just say, I know. I just know. It's just part of our abilities that surfaces at times. And then, the ego mind questions it and says that, well, that's silly. It's just a coincidence. It's nothing really. Don't pay any attention to it. And quite frankly, it's much more than that. And when you listen to the ego mind, which we all do, it has that tendency to convince you, period, that it's silly, that it's not something that you should spend any of your time on, period. Now, when we're mostly conscious at times, and we get these feelings where we almost as if you can do things, but there's a field there or some kind of a wall that stops you. Have you ever done that, where you believe you can do something and you really do. You feel that you could do something, and then when you engage it, it somehow dissipates. Have you ever experienced that, where you really do? I know I can do this, and so you move towards acting upon it, and it stops. It dissipates, and you just kind of go, oh well, okay. That, too, is the ego mind. It's our doubt factor, trust factor, confidence factor in ourselves. When you truly believe in the universe, just completely, there's not even an inkling that the universe is, let's put it this way, the universe is there. It always has been. It's always got your back. But a lot of us don't know that. We think that's silly. So when we throw off a lot of things, I'll put it that way. We have a tendency to just throw off things. So, oh, well, that's not going to work. At first you go, nah, I'm not going to bother with it. And those are the times that we should focus on that we should literally focus on it. And roll with it, go with it, rather than feeling iffy and maybe and, oh, well. Because as the transition continues for this civilization, you're going to pick up awareness in areas where you never had awareness. And it's going to advance and expand and, grow. And confirmations are going to keep coming in. validation. This is the real deal. You're not hallucinating. You're not imagining. This is the real deal. And as you increase your vibrational frequency intentionally by staying in a existence of good frequencies, sometimes we still have negatives come in. That's par for the course. But the good frequencies, to stay in deep gratitude 24/7, and not to get hard on yourself, not to come down on yourself, not to attack yourself, is to be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Where you say, hey, it's okay. No biggie. We'll roll with this. We'll go with it. We'll move through it. Because this is the massive transition that it's going to take for this planetary population to evolve. It's not going to be out there. And, we know that the majority are still out there. Their attention is still on material, physical world. Not themselves so much. Not maybe superficially themselves, but not internally. Not deeply eternal loving to themselves, for themselves. Some of them will transition. They'll wake up enough where they'll transition. The rest won't. And it really isn't. It's interesting because we've been taught, again, and programmed to believe that we have this word death that everybody is so frightened of. And the word death is basically the body ends. We, however, who we really are, never end. We're immortal. We're omnipotently powerful, supreme, immortal beings, super manifestors, super creators. We are prime reality. Our God, the God that we are, is reality. That's the only thing that doesn't change is real. The God. The rest, everything that changes, is not real. And I know for a lot of people that's difficult to embrace. But at first it's very uncomfortable to embrace. But then as you continue to embrace it, you'll understand it'll start coming through. What does that do to us? What does that motivate us to do? Is to slow down our lives and to really look at everything. Take in everything. Don't miss a second. Enjoy the existence in that body. Enjoy the life. Most people will, and this is true, and I'm not saying it's a negative, but most people will spend their lives worrying, stressing, and fearing about something. It's always something. And when they think they believe they've gotten over whatever it was that was haunting them, it comes back in. Something else comes in and takes its place. This is the ego mind. It always has, ego mind, super insecure. I mean, if you really wanted the definition of insecurity, you would say the ego mind. It's very insecure. Not compromising at all. It wants and it wants and it wants and it wants, and that's what feeds it. It's always wanting something. Never enough. Now, you can take that and you can look at beings on this planet who act that way, just like the ego mind, where it's never enough. It's always got to be more. You have a billion, you want a trillion. You have a trillion, you want a gazillion. That's the way it is. And we watch this unfold in front of us on a daily basis, all over the planet, and especially in this country. And you look at places like Dubai and Arab Emirates, and where they all this massive amounts of wealth have come in due to crude oil sales across the planet. That's the bottom line. You built a city in the desert. Have you ever seen Dubai? You look at the Arab Emirates and you look at these, all sand, and then this massive city at sea level. And you can see the ocean there. And when everything that we experience, it should be getting to know who and what we are. Then, really, pretty much everything else is going with the flow. I won't go as far as say it's a cakewalk, but it's pretty darn close. When you are completely free and you know it and you feel it without hesitation, without question. And collectively, our transition is full steam ahead. Those that have chosen, it cannot be done for you. It is something that you choose to do. And then once you do it, once you choose to do it, you slowly but surely begin to feel lighter. You step more into enlightenment. You begin to establish a deep, eternal, loving relationship with yourself. You begin to understand that, how am I going to really love anything else if I do not love myself? Genuinely, not superficially. You know, there's a lot of people say, oh, I love myself. Well, that's a good thing to say. But where is it coming from? Is it coming from your ego mind or your heart mind? Well, I really haven't thought about that. It's a good idea. It's a suggestion that you may want to do that, is to really think about that. Contemplate it. Meditate. Being silent, still, and focused on every breath and the space between heartbeats. We're in the now. And that is all we have. And that's part of the transitory process of this civilization, is it really existing in the now, not tomorrow and not yesterday. And as we unify, because we will, as a people, unify. It's an inevitability. It isn't going to be because you understand the ego mind. See, you will begin to understand the ego mind and its construct. Why is it there? Why has it been master to so many generations of humanity? Why? Because we didn't know. No one told us. No one taught us. Do you think 10,000 years ago that someone was teaching one of us the truth? Or was it just more mass lying, deception, and deceit, and dishonesty? We have this, I wouldn't call it a stigmatism, but I would say that it's kind of like, I don't care to hear about that. I don't, but they'll say I don't want. They'll say they don't want instead of they don't care to. They don't care to hear about all that stuff. Why are you talking to me about this stuff? I'm not interested in this stuff. Stop, change the subject. Just talk about something else. And the reason is because of the fear factor for the people that really are asleep is huge. They actually like their circle of influence, which might be only themselves. But they like that. They enjoy it. So those of us who don't enjoy it, we get to the point where we just basically say to ourselves, I got to take another direction. You ever done that? Maybe not in those words, but I got to take another direction. These things just aren't working right. It's like, I know there's something I'm missing. I haven't discovered what it is yet, but I will. Because it shouldn't be going this way. It's just, I know I'm creating it, so I've got to know why I'm creating it. Why am I creating these things in my life? You know, why is my life the way it is? I'm deeply grateful for the very moment I am in. I'm also interested in knowing why my life is the way it is. It's because of what I create for myself to experience. That's what we do. We create for ourselves what we experience. It doesn't mean we connect with it. It doesn't mean that we are cognizant to it. It just means that we're creating our lives as we go along. And you know, the surprises, those big ones that come in, those surprises, and you say to yourself, where did that come from? It came from you. They're not necessarily consciously wise. We create a lot of things unconsciously in our lives. And then with the ego mind there, and all the mind chatter, and people say, well, what the heck is the mind chatter? Well, the mind chatter is billions of thoughts throughout the ages that maintain on this planet. So you got 100 million people that have left the planet over the course of so many, months or years. What would that mean? All their thoughts remain here when they leave the body behind. All the thoughts remain here. So you can see the noise is horrendous. We have over 60,000 plus thoughts that come in every day. Every day. Without stop. Relentless. So we sit there and we say to ourselves, wow, how are we going to do that? And then we realize that those are not my thoughts. I'm beginning to realize that none of them are my thoughts. But boy, they're tricky because they're attached to my name. They come in out of the clear blue and they're on subjects. How do they know that? They don't. It's the ego mind. Kind of reconfigures them. So we're controlled by other people's thoughts, and most of them aren't even here anymore. And we're directed and guided by other people's thoughts. So it's kind of like, again, like I said before, it's like a merry-go-round. It's going so fast you can't get off. The G-force, the gravitational force, is so high that you're pinned on it. It's going around so fast that you can't get up because the G-force is so strong. I mean, have you ever been maybe on a ride or something where the G-force was so strong you could not hold yourself in an upright position because it was so strong? And that's sometimes how this life works. Sometimes we get pinned and we can't move an inch. So we look at things and we begin to realize that I'm doing this. So I'm going to focus on the now. I'm going to focus on my breath. I'm going to listen to my breath. And the noise and the chatter's gone. Ego mind's gone. Worry, stress, fear's gone. All of it's gone. That's how you know it's an illusion. Isn't that wild? When you see, because you're not using your mind. You aren't using your ego. And they sure as heck don't care to be where you're at with yourself in the now. And it's so imperative because we have so many things that we've created outside of ourselves that distract us all the time. We are constantly being distracted. And some of it, sometimes we fall victim to it. We jump right in it, and we get carried away with it. You see, and when we have there is an ability that we become cognizant to the fact that I don't have to control any of this. I have the universe at my back. I am an omnipotently powerful, supreme, immortal being. I can manifest anything I choose. So why wouldn't I just let it come to me in the form of opportunities, situations, people? I mean, why wouldn't I? Because everything comes to us when we're on that level of vibrational frequency. The universe doesn't lower its vibrational frequency. We do. So when we continue to increase our vibrational frequency, it'll go back up where it will be back, if it ever was there, it'll be back up to the universe on its vibrational frequency of, massive abundance, wealth, stability, happiness, joy, and bliss is where it's at. And this all comes to you in different ways, in different forms, and you identify, I'm going to go with that. Let's roll with this and see what happens. It really is the analogy of the two directions of the current. You've got one direction that's all uphill, where you're constantly fighting it. You're fighting against it to get to a destination. The other one is that you just float and let it take you wherever it takes you. That's basically into the unknown, which most people go, I'm not going there. Someone might be speaking with you, and you say, I'm going for this. And they say, what are you, crazy? You got no idea what's out there. And you're going to go out there. Yeah, I am. I want to know about the unknown. And that's where all the possibilities are. Sitting around doing nothing, it's not a negative, but you're not moving outside that circle you've drawn, that comfort zone, that circle of influence. It's like our opportunities are created by us. Yet we believe, a lot of people believe that, they just kind of come floating in. Doesn't it make sense when you align your vibrational frequency to a high enough level up to the point of the abundance of the universe, and you start asking for things without intervening in them at the same time, you're going to get them. Period. You get $1 billion, and you turn around and say, okay, so here's what happens. So you manifest $1 billion. People, situations, events, whatever. And then you start worrying about keeping it, worrying about losing it, worrying about other people trying to take it. That's what happens. So the flip side of it. So you would look at that and say, well, I understand that. I understand that, and I understand that it's a challenge. And I understand the challenge. So it's like any of us that receive great abundance, wealth, right? It's fun. It's a phenomenal, exciting thing, right? Now, some people wouldn't show the enthusiasm on the outside. They'd show it on the inside. So they could sit in there and be frowning, but on the inside they could be partying, hardying. But however you respond, you're going to know in that instant that I know the other side of this, and the other side of this is my responsibility to make sure that it is in the right place, that it is being taken care of correctly, and that I have a trusting, loving group of people that are helping me do that. Okay? It's a different perspective, and it's a different point of view. And some people would say, holy cow, and they freak out. How to protect it, how to, go to bed at night and sleep well, which isn't silly, because that's, again, the ego mind. The reason we talk so much about the ego mind is because it is the culprit to all of our unhappiness. It is the culprit to all of our disappointment, all of our pain and suffering, is the ego mind. So, when you have the ego mind, you say, okay, so I know that the ego mind's an illusion, but man, it sure feels real. It does. You could be talking with someone and immediately, you get to the point, you will get to that level of understanding and comprehension, where you'll be conversing with someone and you will know immediately that they are being controlled by their ego mind. Boom. You could say one thing to poke the ego mind that they're being controlled by, and watch what they do. But being aware of it is absolutely imperative, because that's halfway home. Halfway home meaning that you will no longer be under the control of the ego mind. And what I've shared with people a lot is that when you give, you get. Whatever it is you're giving, it's nasty, ugly, horrible, crappy, that's what you're going to get back. If it's loving, wonderful, kind, generous, blissful, that's what you're going to get back. But you don't give unless you can give. You take care of you first. You've got to be, you're happy, you're joyous, you're blissful. You practice mostly of staying in the now. You know that the ego mind can no longer be your master. So you leave the ego mind alone and you focus on the heart mind and the now. And that's what we're doing. But when things get, a little hectic and irritable, and stressful situations and stuff, you'll feed it. Because depending on how you are, depending really truly on how you are, is going to depend on the outcome of that day, that week, that hour, that minute, on how you respond to whatever it is that pokes you the wrong way. That's the key right there. Now, when you become aware, right, you'll know, okay, wait a minute here. I'm not going to go there. I just am not going to do it. And then it dissipates. It's like fog lifting off of a lake in the early morning as the sun burns it away. So you go, I'm not going there. I know what it's all about. I've done this before, more than once, so I'm not stepping in that. And this is how it starts to change, transform. These thoughts come in and you go, nope. I'm not going to start a conversation myself about this person or that person or this situation, that situation. It's all negative. It all takes me down. It makes me feel much heavier. So, therefore, I'm going to leave it alone. And you leave it alone. And it disappears. But, things keep coming in. They'll keep coming in. And they'll keep coming in. And you'll be able to identify it. That's an ego mind thought. I'm not interested in engaging in it. I don't care to. You know? Or you'll feel that irritation that someone said something or does something, and you want to speak out because the ego mind pushing you to do that. And you go, no, been there, not going to do that either. And see, you're not in the ego mind when you're able to do this. You're really not. Because if you were in the ego mind, you would do it. So it really changes things. And it's a good thing. It's a good change. Well, these are all little awarenesses. We get these inclinations and we become aware of certain things and we know it and we know how to alleviate it by not engaging with it. We know that thoughts come in at blinding speed. We're being lambasted with thoughts 24/7 and never ending. That's why some people say, I'd like to go to a retreat with no cell phones. No cell phone. And if you have an emergency, so you take a cell phone, you put it in your vehicle, and you leave it there. Period. You keep it, charged. You've got it plugged in, but you just keep it there while you're on a retreat. You don't use a phone. You don't use a computer. You just be. And that's why some people will just disappear in the wilderness, and some of them you never see them again. Others will disappear for a time period and they'll come back out. But don't you ever feel that, we all have felt this, the pressure gets so high and great that you would like to just say, you know what, I'm going to just say the heck with this, and I'm going to go out and have a good time. I'm going to enjoy my life. All this stuff and doing this and doing that, it's just overloading me, and I'm done with it. And that's what people do. Some of them get burned out for all the wrong reasons. I know this chef. He's got his own restaurant. He's partnership in it. And him and his wife works her fingers to the bone trying to do, like reupholstering the chairs and doing this and doing that so that the patronage is appreciative of it. But he's burned out. And I was talking with another chef that has worked with him in many situations on actually opening restaurants, right, for other people. And this other chef said, yeah, I've known him for 20 years. He is really burned out. He is so burned out, it's unreal. And what is burnout? What causes burnout? What is it? Well, we overextend ourselves. We push ourselves way too much. We're very hard on ourselves. We don't love ourselves. We don't have an intimate relationship with ourselves, number one. And we're always in a hurry. Everything is pressure, 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 pressure. Got to get it done. Got the deadline. Got the deadline. Got to get this new menu out. Got to get this out. Got to get that out. And it's this way with any endeavor. So now what he would like to do, he would like to be in an enterprise where he buys like something or some different properties, whatever. He really doesn't have to work, and the money just comes in. That's a Shangri-La story, isn't it? How many of us would like that? You really don't have to do much work. It just comes in. It just flows in. And I believe he wants to be a big shot. He wants to be really admired and have a lot of people go, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And there's nothing wrong with any of that. But we get so intense and we don't have any fun anymore. That's what happens. That's what burnout is. You're not having fun. When you stop having fun, stop doing what you're doing. It's a dead giveaway. When I was counseling professionals, people who get paid, that's what professional means, for what they do, all walks of life, and they were approaching burnout, I would say to them, do you love what you do? And they would say, I used to, but I really don't anymore. Because they have mastered it. They mastered it. And that what else is there to do then when you master it? So see, when you master something, you get bored with it and you get unhappy. You're not happy with it. And it feels like a drudgery. And it feels like, oh, God, I got to go in. I got to prep the food. I got to do this, got to do that. And it just becomes a drudgery. And more you become more disconnected, more unhappy, less fulfilled. And slowly but surely, you lose your connection, your passion. You lose it. I've talked to other people that have businesses, successful ones, that they've built from the ground up, entrepreneurs, not megalithic, but, decent operations. And so I asked the one individual, he's in his late 30s, and they said, he's a contractor, he has a contracting company. And I said, would you do this again? And he looks at me and he goes, I don't think I have the energy to do this all over again. That tells you something right there. Okay? Do you love what you do, or you just love the money that it affords you? Okay? If you do it just for money, you're not love it. Now, when you love something, money comes, as we all know. When you really love something, you're passionate about it, and you do it, you're going to, and if it is directed towards generating income, then, and you're happy, then you'll enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it. Oh, I love what I do. Oh, crap. You didn't have to pay. You ever had people say, I don't even need to be paid for what I'm doing because I love doing it so much? That's the key. That's the crucial thing. And it's everything. It's not just a job. It's enjoying. That's New Earth. That's what we're evolving towards with. That everything we do, we're going to enjoy doing it because we'll be so happy to be in the body and spend every moment in it because we're consciously aware, and we build upon that. And we expand. We discover more and more things about ourselves, about this life, about the God that we are in the body. It is a true joy, believe it or not, to be in these bodies, no matter what you're experiencing. The reason you're experiencing disharmony, dis-ease, is because you've created it for yourself. That's the bottom line. You've created it for yourself. And people will get bogged down and say, why is all this happening? This is ridiculous. And I said, well, you're creating it. No, I'm not creating it. That's crazy. Why would I do that? My answer is right back at you. Why would you do that? That's when you start focusing on the breath and going in, within. And literally communing with the God that you are in that body. And why do I create these things to make my life so ridiculously challenging? You have conversations with people that say, well, this just happened, it just showed up. I'm not concerned about it. I'm just going to embrace it and know that everything will just work out fine. But if I drop my vibrational frequency and I go into fretting and worrying and stressing and fearing, then I'm going to build more of the same that is going to come in. More of the same that will come in. See, knowing all that is so powerful for any of us. Knowing it is huge. And then when we it's like unfolding. It's like one thing after the other. And we start discovering this, and we start going, wow. You could, someone could say something derogatory to you, and it would just light you up, irritate you. And then your whole day is shot. Started off as a good day, right? And you were happy and just kind of bouncing along. And all of a sudden someone says something, or someone dings your vehicle, or someone's rude, and it goes right down the tubes. You ever done that? Your whole attitude just, your frequencies just go like air out of a tire. And you're going, man, my day started out great, and now it's just an absolute mess and disaster. Well, it's because of your response on whatever was the catalyst that caused you to step in the cow pie. So it's our continued, it's a devotion to ourselves. It's a devotion to the gods that we are. It's a devotion to each other. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and a slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Explore the sacredness of each experience. Every feeling, thought, and sensation you have will never happen exactly as it has again. Each experience is sacred because it is a doorway to discover divinity. Your mind may not always notice it and might even label most experiences as lacking or tacking any divine foundation. Yet this is just the mind slapping another label onto life. Don't pay any attention to it. Instead, open up deeply to each experience and explore how perfect each one truly is. Today's the day to start feeling the most powerful yet subtle movements inside of you. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning, and we will return here Friday, August 18, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call, and around 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening around you or within you.